Are you gonna have him smell that one bag?
He's huffing it, dude. He's gonna be puking later. Yeah. And when we go out here, remember that smell? We're gonna smell out in this other garage.
Okay.
And it makes me think it's from like the water outside. That's what I can think.
Okay.
I'm not sure. In the bomb shower, I told you I went back in there and checked. I took a bunch of bags out of there. Really nothing in there really smelt at all. I mean, this is what I was able to salvage out of like all my blankets, all of our clothes, everything else.
None of this smelled, right?
And I think some of it did, yeah.
Right.
I do.
But for the most part,
I'm getting that ammonia cat piss smell. My cat doesn't piss in the house. Like, she doesn't even have a litter box in here.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And I know that they've sat here for months.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, I'm telling you, I probably threw 50 garbage bags of clothes away because the clothes were all the way to the ceiling. Because I just took everything out of every cupboard upstairs and just threw it down here. This is my mess. But
yeah, that's all right.
I was like, shit, I need to get another dumpster. I can fill another one up.
Yeah. And what about that? Did you show him that on the wall?
I did. That, whatever that is. And then, Mark, I will show you the other garage.
It doesn't look like mold. I don't know.
I do have mold over there, and it's different looking. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, it wasn't soaking wet over there. I'm sorry it's barricaded in there.
Sorry.
But everything that was in this corner, it was all like blankets and clothes and shoes and stuff that I had saved. I had to throw everything in that corner away. And this was just moved from over here.
Yeah. You know what this kind of smells like?
New school supplies.
What's that?
New school supplies or markers on this?
Acetone. Fingernail polish.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that everyone said my house smelled like in the beginning, even
well,
though they were doing documentaries.
I can't describe it. Now, when we walk out to the garage, I think you're going to smell the same smell, but it's mixed with maybe like a gasoline smell. And some of the shoes were, you know, brand new. My son only wore them once or twice. That's why I saved them, because they were all Nikes and stuff, you know.
But that's something that everyone said. It smelled like fingernail polish remover.
And I was hoping you'd be able to get a whiff once I put everything in the dumpster. But the problem is now is because I threw food in there, it's all like, just smells like rotten trash now.
Right. Okay.
And I shouldn't have done that because I started throwing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bags and bags and bags and bags.
Yeah. So when the initial fire happened, were you getting any effects up here, or was it just after the vent burned?
Well, I'll tell you what, we stayed in the house all the way until the National Guard came and told us we had to leave.
And when was that? Was that on Monday?
It was, they were going to do the burn.
Yeah.
I think maybe that day or I think that day.
Okay.
I wanted to leave the night the train derailed, but I went around and I did. You know, I closed all the windows, which we have all new windows, so they all seal good. And I put like towels under the doors. Like I was telling Ashley, like this is all not sealed and it's all open right to the house.
That's kind of how my basement doors are too.
And then this is that. This is my French drain. It's alright, that's that. And then this is the drain that I don't know what it's connected to. And then that first room over there has a drain too.
Yeah. Yeah, so these probably all go through the
Well, this I think is the French drain. I think it drains out behind that tree. But this, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then there's the mold. And it was not like that. I mean, there was a little bit when we left, but I feel like I got a lot more. So I'm just... Yeah,
we are.
Yeah, this house is weird. It's because it's... And that's what I'm saying. I'm getting water damage along this front, and I feel like anything that was very chemically smelling was in that. I'm going to clean all that out and remedy that, because that might be an issue too. I already bought the kilns and the bleach and everything to get that.
You don't want to mess with mold.
No. Like I said, that was maybe a patch like that when we left.
Yeah.
And I think we had a real rainy season. I don't know. This water, this basement never got water in it before.
Yeah.
But I also noticed that like it's shifting, like, you know, like this is cracking, so maybe it's just old age. You know, after you live in a house for 30-some years, you see, I guess, the dilapidate a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. No, ours is built in the 40s. That's not the same problem.
But I don't smell the chemical really in this garage, but in this garage, I do. This one over here.
Okay.
You know, is it possible some of the chemicals, like how you said it smells like that? Do you think it would be something that's breaking down the paint and whatever
At the low levels, that I mean, again, like we've talked about before, actually, all the organics, they go away really quickly.
Yeah, but is it from them damn tanks? Because those tanks are exposed to that water in those tanks over there. It's exposed to the open air, and if they're constantly the fish tanks.
The fish tanks.
Yeah, that's what I call them. The big blue tanks.
Oh no, there's nothing. We have monitoring devices.
Even though that's toxic water, you mean their VOCs when the sun hits that it doesn't dissipate and go into the air?
Yeah, it does. I mean, absolutely. But the levels we're seeing in the water and in the we have monitors set up all around it. We're just not seeing.
And like I said, I
We're
know
not seeing
it's kind of like walked back in there.
Yeah, because I'm seeing just a lot of discrepancies with like lab results and the air testing. It's all saying.
And like I
it's
said,
too
sorry,
low.
there's wetness in here, but I also smell like a chemical.
You smell chemical in here?
Yeah, I think it
It's
smells
not
just like their shoes.
I can't tell in here, but I definitely can tell in there.
Yeah, it's not as bad,
Yeah.
but to me, it's the same chemical.
Okay.
But upstairs, I know you think we're fucking nuts.
No,
But upstairs, it's something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's something different.
No, I can smell it in the bag of shoes. Absolutely.
And you have to understand, as I pull stuff out, like even upstairs, stuff that has been like closed up, it's all smelled like that. And I'll tell you what it did to me every time. It would blast me right in the face, and it's like, you know that shit you spray on your keyboards to like blow the dust off? I felt like I was getting blown right in the front of my gums with that. Just very weird.
And one of the chemicals you sent me on that list are found in vapes that actually cause.
Oh, and that's what
deterioration
else
of
I
the
was
enamel.
telling her. Have you ever tasted vape juice?
Beet juice?
Vape.
Vape? Say that.
Like vape, like, you know, people
Oh,
smoke
vaping.
vapes. So like nicotine vape juice. You smell anything in there? I'm only associating it with the water from the outside with the chemical smell. That's why I'm trying to.
Yeah, I get it.
I bet
I
if
get
you
what you're
pop
saying.
off, but if you pop off this, you'd smell that.
I should have probably saved more things.
So that's probably smell the shoes. Whatever that was, smell the shoes.
And that is, and I'm telling you, after the controlled burn, when I came home for the 4 weeks, my entire house reeked of that smell. Very heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was throughout the entire home, like
Yeah.
straight up chemical.
Yeah. And how
And
long-
maybe that's why we were bleeding out everywhere for some of our
And
body.
how long did that last?
I'd say it was like that until that guy came and cleaned.
Oh, really?
And I'm not saying it's gone, but I think that it did help. So, like, I feel like that's why I wanted to, start throwing everything out. And I'm going to even get another dumpster because I feel like I could fill another one. And, yeah, it was like that until that guy came and cleaned.
Yeah.
And I had
Oh, there's a dumpster. You can see that one get out.
oh yeah, that's, I mean, it's packed to the very max up there.
And after they cleaned, she moved a rug and it's black underneath.
Yeah, do I think it's better? I do.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's still something wrong because there's some of it coming from somewhere and it's enough that it's bothering me. It may not bother the next person.
Right, I get it.
And also my concern is if it's less, is it going to take 6 weeks, 7 weeks for them to start, you know what I mean? I'm afraid it's going to get worse again. And I'll see weird things and I get freaked out,
Well, again, I'm just going.
I mean, if you want to take the bag of shoes, you can take them.
Going with. No, but I'm thinking about the shoes.
And how can I explain it? So when I'm throwing the clothes away, as I go to start taking the clothes away, it's in between, and it would be like in between those clothes, it's that heavy chemical smell.
Yeah.
It's like it's trapped in there or
Yeah.
something. I think that smells from the initial burn.
Yeah.
But the other stuff is something that's in the air and it's not as bad, and that's I think maybe why we're not getting as sick. Maybe.
Yeah. No. Again, that's the mystery, right?
Yeah.
Why are people feeling the way they're feeling?
Yeah. You don't feel bad. Like right now, my throat, my eyes,
Yeah, and that, again, that's Candace. That's what I've said this to Ashley 100 times. That's what makes this hard, because everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at the number of people in this community, right? You're looking at just under 5,000 people, right? And there's
Well, it's lower now.
probably it's lower. That's right. 5,000 is the cutoff between city and village. And I'd say based on my experiences here since February, it's a couple hundred, right? That have expressed.
No, I haven't gone in here. We can go in here and try to smell this. My son's been putting his shit in here though. But I think it's dry in there too. Maybe, yeah, because it's all screened and I just put shower curtains up all around it.
Yeah, it's aired out. And that's I was talking to a lady at our public information session last Thursday, and she said that
We can walk back up on the porch so we can get out of the sun if you want.
she said to me, she goes, for 3 months things just didn't feel right. She goes, but I kept the the air purifiers going. I kept changing out filters. I kept air moving through the house, and she goes, so now I'm fine.
But is she really fine though, or did she get used to it or immune to it?
Well, that's what.
'Cause
Yeah,
like a smoker will smoke, and
Yeah.
then after we don't smoke for a couple hours or maybe a day, then it's like, wow, it's really disgusting smelling.
yeah,
So
that's
is it the same kind
That's-
of concept?
Yeah, right. That's the question. So, but I'm just telling you what she told me.
I mean, Mark, you'll get this one. Does it matter? It is. I don't know if it's the cleaning I had done, but like I said, as I move stuff around, I still feel like there's things that are contaminated in the home. I don't know if that's dispersing the chemicals or what, but I do feel still there's something
Yeah,
else.
yeah. What were you gonna do with the bag of shoes?
You want it?
So I know.
Oh, I'm throwing it away.
You're gonna throw it away? Do me a favor. Put it in a plastic bag, tie a knot in it. Yeah, garbage bag and tie a knot in it.
Non-scented?
Oh,
That'd be better?
Non-scented. I didn't want this shit.
and these are my results. We were trying to look at them, but this is the problem you're gonna have. So when you're looking, okay, I want to explain this to you. Which I can't give you all these, but if you want to sit and look
That's
through
fine.
'em.
I know how to read it.
So mine is CD. So anything on here that's CD
I see.
is me, because Zeus's are on here too, and Chris the Figlets.
Got it.
Okay, so then he did this. He did the furnace filter. When I gave him to him, I gave him to him wrong like an asshole. So the post filter is the pre-filter. So the post filter is the filter before the derailment, because I changed this is what I did. February 1st, I just so happened to change the filter. Train wreck happened on 3rd. I think on the 7th, after the burn was over, I came home, changed it, put the filter in a bag, left it in the basement. And then I ended up meeting Scott. Well, when I gave him the one from May 1st, and then when
February
I gave
1st.
February 1st, and then when I gave him the other one, I switched them. So the post is the pre, and the pre is the post.
He told me that story. I
Okay.
didn't realize it was you.
Okay, yeah, it's me. And then here's my soil, but you can look through there. Because see, like this one I'm not understanding. Like they're saying, oh, mine are this, but like this, 2.2. Like, I mean, I don't know if that's high or, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I know this stuff well. This is what I do.
If you want to sit here, I'll move this for you.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Whoop, I'm
If
sorry.
she's showing them to you, she wants to keep it between you and not pictures being taken of it.
I will not take any pictures.
And I'll go get that, well, I think what we're wanting to do is get all 20 of us that have results from Scott and maybe make an appointment, come to the EPA together as a force. I mean, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. What is Scott's interpretation of the data? Because I've been begging him for a work plan or a quality assurance plan since the beginning of this, and he still has yet to give it to me, so I don't know.
Well, honestly, I'm going to tell you, Scott told me he couldn't read my results, and now Wednesday they're having a thing where he's supposed to be helping people to read their results.
Okay. This Wednesday. Good.
At Dr. Chai's office, I believe. You can go on the Unity Council website and see it.
Okay.
Whatever it is. I want to say it's like a no-nonsense summit or something.
Okay, you're CD. Okay.
I'm CD,
All right.
yes.
So first filter post derailment, which is actually instead of reading.
Yes, I swapped them.
Do you know what the J means? Doesn't it mean it could not be
It
tested?
means estimate.
Yeah.
It means estimate. Yeah. It means it was probably below the reporting limit, which it is. So, but they detected it, so it's an estimate.
Now, is it or they couldn't test to that capacity as
No.
well?
The lab can only, the instrumentation can only go down so far. But if it sees the signature, they'll flag it as an estimate. We see the compound, but it's an estimate.
So now would that be accurate?
No,
Then?
no, but it's presence is likely there. But they have to flag it as estimate. So, for example, let's go with the OCDD, the octa. The octa is what that's what you typically see in burning situations, right? So, and you see the octa, it's 2.0, but the B also means that you see it in the blank. So,
See it in the what?
the blank, the method blank. So, the method blank is, let's see, their qualifier list.
I already tried to check. It's not there, but
You-
I have
they
the,
never- yeah.
the alternate for the guidelines
Oh, no, it's right
for the
here.
state.
It's right here. Compound was
Oh,
also,
yep. That
yeah.
we just overlooked.
Yeah, we're.
Yeah, compound was also found in the blank. So when you see a B, that means they're seeing it in the blank and the sample. So that means it may be there, may not be there. When you see a J, that typically means, let's see if their lab is the same. It means it's an estimate, which means that the result is less than the reporting limit, but greater than the method detection limit. Therefore, it's an approximation. Right?
So is there a way to get a test since it's coming up greater? Is there an alternate?
That's up to the individual lab and their equipment.
Now, like I know Status Coop did an article on my results, and he had a toxicologist or environmental toxicologist or whatever read it, and he said dioxins that were 15 times greater than the reporting ran through my furnace filters.
Okay.
So I don't know if you'll be able to see that on there.
Yeah,
or...
because the SERL, the reporting limit, right? And so this result here for the HEPTA, the HEPTA is about, let's see, for 20% lower than the reporting limit in this particular one, as an estimate because it's below the reporting limit. Okay. So bottom line, what you're seeing in this particular sample is all of your data is either flagged as an estimate or they see it in blank, but the presence of the compounds are there. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And so that was pre-derailment.
Now, with that said, there's some in there that don't just go away from the heat.
No, they wouldn't. Dioxins are everywhere.
But depending
Well,
on
this
the
lady
amount,
told me the dioxins that mine tested positive for are fluorinated dioxins that are usually not in whatever in the environment at those levels, like from a barbecue or whatever.
Okay. Well, again,
I've had this for 2 months, so I looked it up because that's what I'm referring to. There's a couple that were
now,
weird.
yeah. Now in the soil, all right. So you're in. These are micrograms per kilogram, meaning part per trillion. Okay. So these are below the reporting limits, so they're flagged as estimates. Oh, these are the semi-volatils. That makes sense. Okay, so now we're in the dioxins. Same thing. The OCDD is signature of burn. The TCDD is the toxic one, right? And so it's well below the reporting limit. It's also in the method blank, which is interesting. And your total TCDD is 1.8.
Why is that interesting that one was? You
That
couldn't
it's in the
see.
method. I'm surprised it's in the method blank. You usually don't see that particular compound in the blank at the lab, but it's there. So basically, that means that it may or may not be in the sample itself because it's in the blank and it's below the reporting limit. But long story short, you have the HEPTA, the HP, the heptafuran and the heptadioxin. Those are also signatures of what we've been seeing in soils. So, and the OCDD is a signature of what we've been seeing in soils. And the rest are lower, which is consistent with our data. So the data is consistent with the original. Unfortunately, they don't give you a total.
Well, what's weird is it'll come again and it'll say CD soil again.
Okay, all right, because Yeah, because I'd like to see what they call a TEQ value.
Oh, it's in there.
Okay. Oh, it is. Okay.
It is
Yeah,
back.
because what I can tell you, what I can also tell you is, just looking at these levels, that I bet the TEQ is going to come back about to. I'm going to guess about 5 to 10, maybe 15. So, but we'll see. Let me see it.
Would you want him to write that on the back so that
What?
you don't forget that measurement, like right on the back of the front page or
I
something?
won't forget
well,
that.
her,
Yeah.
so she knows.
Yeah. Well, let's go find the other seat. See if they have it listed first, and then I will write it down. So. Okay. Where are we? You were CD. Oh, here we go. All right, CD pre,
Which really, that was the one after.
which is what you're saying is one after. Okay. So, reporting level 0.5. The HP is higher. Again, which we expect to see. The OCDD, not the OCDF. Where's the OCDD?
Yeah, but like, look, this says 5.9. Is that crazy over the reporting limit?
It's over. Yeah.
A lot? Like, to be worried?
Well, the reporting limit doesn't mean anything. All that is the laboratory's. That's the laboratory's reporting limit. So the fact that you can see it just means you can see it.
Yeah, but what if we look at, I'm just curious, what if we look at this number that it's 5.9 and we look at it before the derailment? Does that give us a baseline at all of what it was before?
Potentially. So the reason I advised Scott back in February to be careful about going indoors is a furnace filter is not a sampling method that can.
Well, like the lady told me, she has to know the exact surface size area white, which Scott says he does a 12 by 12.
Right, but you also need yeah, it's nanograms per weight, but you also need to know what the what the pore space is, what's going through that filter, right? So all that is an indicator of what's collecting on top of the filter, right? I don't make any judgments on it because again I haven't seen his work plans, I haven't seen his quality assurance plan. I don't know what his data is intended to prove, right? What is he comparing this to?
There's a controlled sample in there. If
Right.
you look, I want to say it's maybe IT or something.
Yeah, and then the problem with that is I know where he collects that from. It's in a rural farm in Salem, which is not in an commercial industrial location. So that's why we need to see it, right? So we can better understand,
Well, couldn't you guys call over another region and be like, hey, here's something comparable, can you guys get us a sample?
So with all the work he's doing, he should be doing that, right? I mean, that's.
Well, I think everyone should be doing that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to come out and collect samples, it's
Well, if you're
gotta
going to
be
take a sample from Salem, you guys should go downtown into the industrial park in
Right.
Salem and take it. Because being
That's-
here, it's kind of like
That's my point.
downtown Salem. You can't go to a farm.
That's my point. That's exactly my point. That's why
Well, we're
I said.
getting free help too, so I mean,
No, and I get
I
that.
haven't received any, so.
And I get that. Absolutely. So anyway, so a couple of the compounds, yes, they are above the reporting limit, and interestingly, they're the same compounds that I mentioned, the hepta, which is the HP, and the octa, which is the OC. We see them slightly above the reporting limit, and if I go back to the original.
Now, let me ask you something, Mark. The more tests of these that you see, does it start to come together in your mind? Are you coming up with any ideas of what you think could be going on?
On the health front, no, unfortunately, because health, on the environmental front, I think we do have a good idea. I'll explain that in a minute.
I know you're short on time.
Yeah, that's all right, I got time. So, like I said, on the OC, you're 2.0 and an OCDF 0.46. I'm not sure why they don't have the OCDD listed here. Oh, here it is. All right. Yeah, 49. Yeah, so it's higher. You're still seeing the blank, but it's still higher. Okay. There it is. No, that's DL. That's not you.
Now, do you think these results are high for how far away I am?
Again, that's why I need to see his plans.
Well, I'm going to meet with him tomorrow, so you
Okay.
need to tell me exactly what you need from Scott. Because Scott has told us all from the beginning that we can take our results to you and that you guys will accept them. So that's either the truth or that's not the truth.
The only thing I've ever said is we'll look at them.
Because what happened with Unity Council is they told Scott,
Yeah.
we're not going to do any more media with you or do anything with you until you read these people's test results.
Okay.
You've done all these tests and now you're leaving people not knowing what the hell's going on.
Yeah. That's good feedback. I mean, again, that's.
So supposedly he's supposed to have this thing at
Okay.
Dr. Chai's
Well,
office.
it's an open meeting too. So
It's
if
an
you
open
wanna
meeting. I'm
attend,
thinking you could
and-
go. It's
I don't think my presence there would be very.
hey, I'm telling you, Scott told me from the beginning that he wants to work alongside with you. But I mean, I'm the first to admit, Scott's off the rails. I think he's a little out there. He's a
I'll
little-
admit it's him,
I
too.
mean, I love the guy, but he's a little wild one, you know.
I mean, I'm just good friends with Melissa May, so I kind of know the stuff that happened before.
Hey, you want to know
If
what's so
anyone else
crazy?
wants to do it, that's fine. I'm not going to give my customer back.
I can't remember the guy's name now. When I called to get my phone fixed, you ready? The guy that did my phone call was a guy from Flint, Michigan. Guess who we brought up? You.
Me?
Yeah. He said.
Everyone brings up you.
He said,
at
"Who?"
some
He
point.
said, "Who's your EPA guy?" He said, "Ours was Mark Turno." I started laughing. I said, "He's coming to my house in a couple of days." Yeah, it was a guy from Flint, Michigan that I got. How ironic was it? And he's like, stay strong. We've been, fighting it over here too, and it was just wild.
That is small world. Very small world.
I'm trying to look for this for Wednesday. Maybe they didn't post anything. I don't know. We had a meeting last night. They were supposed to do all this stuff Wednesday, come out with these things, and I think everything got messed up, and Jamie's freaking out. And I don't see anything.
So now here's the one thing that she hasn't said, and she reassuring, doesn't want to step on toes, make you guys feel bad or anything. Candace, do you really feel safe staying here?
I know.
Yeah.
And with what she's experiencing, what she said, at first she wanted to be really optimistic, and now it's to the point like, hey, And honestly, what she explained was something I was going through whenever I first left, where you feel like you have to go backward. You have to poop, you can't do it. Like, it almost feels like a urinary tract infection or a kidney stone.
I keep
for your
getting
body.
these still.
Oh, canker sores?
Yeah, I never got
Yeah.
canker sores before in my life.
Yeah. Oh, they're the worst.
And I feel like I'm getting them in my nose too or something.
Yeah. I get them from stress. They're no.
It might be stressing.
They're no fun. They hurt. I mean, they hurt.
Well, I came outside yesterday because my kids were crying to come outside. Mark, we were out here for 10 minutes. I freaked out. I couldn't do it.
Outside?
Right here.
Wow.
I'm just afraid. I'm afraid that the yard's contaminated. And they're out there putting their hands in their mouths and in the dirt. And
Well, the soil. So you said they had a TEQ value on this, because that's what I've been looking for. So let's go back.
you want to do it for the soil? I mean,
Yeah.
if you keep going, I'm telling you, there's a whole other soil
So
at
that-
that. Yeah.
So that's the PAHs. And those-
There's more. It's like so weird. Okay, this all soil. I know it has it on here
They're
somewhere.
all what, greater than?
Semivols.
Mark.
Here we go, dioxins. Okay.
Yeah, I'll ask the girls, and if they allow me to share it, I'll send you an email file of it. I mean, I'm not going to hide it from you.
Yeah. Like I said, the thing I'm most interested in is the TEQ value from soil.
But comparing that
Keep
to Love
going, because I'm
Canal,
telling you, there's more back here of mine. I don't know why it is like that. I feel like
ours is higher than Love Canal's.
that's Porchway. Here, let me look at it.
Okay.
I want to say
Or no, Times Beach. So ours is higher than Times Beach.
Times Beach.
Yeah.
And so I actually, I'm talking to Krista later today about that. I'm curious.
I have all the test results. They have 5 boxes.
So that's, again, it's another problem with Scott's data. He's not using TEQ values.
Okay.
If he's using TEQ values, and if the Times Beach number,
would it be anywhere around here?
so I
TQ.
there it is, 2.8. So that's great.
No, I know. I've had them
Yeah.
for a while. So I mean,
Yeah.
When did you first get those? Those
Yeah,
were about
these-
2
and these
months
are-
ago.
and these are
so I've
old,
been
so
looking at those. That
These are
under
from like
that
right
is-
after the derailment.
Yeah. So what I tell you based on this, based on dioxins alone, 2.8 is some of the lowest I've seen. We collected samples at 146 locations, and the sample results come back anywhere between the normal range is somewhere between 3 to 4, all the way up to 20 to 30. You're below that. Now,
So when they're saying theirs are like 150,000 times higher, what is their
so
TEQ?
what the TEQ was 1,800, so it was high. Yeah, it was high, and that was at the roadside at what's the name of that? Brushville, the Brushville.
Yeah, my girlfriend owns that. Marilyn figured
Yeah,
it
yeah,
out.
Maryland.
Feels
Yeah.
like your body's gonna turn inside out even when you have a mask on down there.
But
When you go down there, even whenever you have an actual fitted mask to go into that area, it feels like your body's gonna turn inside out.
that's what it feels like to you.
Oh yeah, like it's just so much at once. You can't breathe even through a mask. It's like your eyes burn.
So and again,
feel
that's
dizzy.
that's what's fascinating. Like we have hundreds of people down there, and nobody has that.
Well,
that
another
reaction.
person, I think you spoke to Joy. She was down there, and then she
Yeah.
came back up. She was throwing up the whole way.
Yeah, yeah. So again, that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, I did talk to Joy,
Mhm.
and that again, that's everybody's different, you know, and that's what makes it so hard.
But isn't that like a suffering though? Like
That's-
if I would have to live through it and go back
Right.
to my house, I would potentially be suffering, and she doesn't even know what her kids are feeling because they can't verbalize that.
Well, the only thing I tell you from this is I'd feel good about the soil. It's lower than.
Now, see, I had an environmental toxicologist told me that the soil was bad enough that I needed remediation
At
done.
a 2.8? Really?
I mean, that's what she told me.
When was the guidelines changed last though too?
Well, you know what all right, so we have what we call regional screening levels, right?
Okay.
The regional screening levels for dioxins in the soil, and this is based on California standards, which are the most conservative standards in the country, is 4.8. You're below that. So,
Okay, but let me ask you this.
and that's if you are spending time in soil 365
Yeah, that I
days
have
a year.
kids that are out there putting
Yep.
their hands in the dirt,
Exactly.
putting their hands in the mouth.
Exactly, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and that number comes in at 4.8, and you're below that. I would not feel bad about the soil at all.
But what about the front yard to the backyard?
Well, I mean, where was the soil?
So it's
Well,
just the
this
point
was
of
this.
testing too.
The
Yeah, so
soil
where
was
was-
collected right in front, like where my French drain goes out, because he said he wanted to collect maybe like where there was water that lied.
Yeah.
So he did it
So
maybe
he's trying to
back.
get worst case scenario. So,
Yeah. So I mean,
Well,
even if they
I'm being
drive
honest
cars-
with you.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
yeah.
But
no,
here's where it differs for me. If it's contaminated that close and that high, if she drives through there and things are taken care of properly, muddy tires, bring it up here, kids walking in, going through that,
You know,
you're
and-
still going to have a type of contamination that's
Well-
going to start escalating that number. Because if it's forever, right? Because the
yeah, but again, this is one sample, so you can't estimate risk. on
Well,
one
and if
sample,
you're ever
right?
out when it's starting
Yeah.
to get dark, Mark, and you're driving by here, like when the sun goes down and like the grass starts to get moist,
Mhm.
just get out and just walk through my yard, and I swear I get like a chlorinated smell.
Okay, so that's not dioxin.
So it's something different.
No, I wouldn't hang my hat on the dioxin. Yeah, that's me.
But there's something. Because I wouldn't be complaining. So
Like I said, I'm not arguing. I'm definitely not arguing
but it-
your health issues.
No, yeah, I know, but it feels like if I mention the right thing, you're gonna be like, but you're not gonna come out and tell me it. And I feel like that's kind of how it goes. And I mean, you know that. So if there was a way to actually go about it, because what she's getting on the top of her head is the same thing that lady was getting. The back of my neck had the same thing. And if I start getting the same thing she has from being here, I'm gonna shave my head just to show this is the amount of time. Because the last time I was at my house was with Alfred, and one time
Yeah.
running.
What was the lizard? Is that at your house?
Yeah, it's Uromassic, so it's a desert animal that doesn't drink water.
I had 2 goldfish that died, but they were 15 years old. I don't know if they died of old age.
Well, so just to close the book on this, the soil I'm not concerned about. All right.
Okay, so the
However,
soil can go off the list.
in my opinion,
Okay.
all right. But again, it's only one sample, but it's consistent. It's on the low side of consistent, but it's consistent with what we've seen with our soil sampling. Anything that we collect by the roadside, right next to the street, tends to be higher.
Do you have a map of where every sample has been taken?
Yeah.
Is that on the website?
It is. Now, you're not going to be able to see property by property because of privacy issues,
Yeah.
but you can see the dots, right? And I could sit down and show you where we got the outliers, the high outliers.
So is there more compared to what they took? I can't remember when that was. I got a flyer from whenever they were taking samples. Someone gave me one.
Okay.
So now is that different from then, or is there a newer updated one?
I'm sure. It's newer.
Okay.
We have it down at the welcome center. I can show it to you.
Okay.
But again, you're not going to be able to look and say, oh, that's that's my property, or
Yeah.
But I could show you on my interactive map where the samples were collected, what the values were, and it's pretty remarkable that when we collected samples in the right of way where we couldn't get access to people's properties, we saw higher values, which makes sense because roads are whatever washes off the road ends up right there on the side of the road, right?
So what about my property then, like on East Main Street?
So
Is that
East Main.
significantly higher than over here? Because from going in her house, it's not the same as going in mine.
What does that mean?
I feel more severe symptoms in my house.
In your house, okay.
And trust me, I want to be there. I went in
Yeah.
whenever, right before the lizard died, and I cried because I was like, I missed this shitty carpet that I was going to do. You know what I mean? Like, now I'm getting to that point. I really fucking hate being in a hotel.
But also,
It
Mark,
sucks
I'm
in a
telling you,
hotel.
before they came and
But-
cleaned that bag, that smell that you smelt in the bag, I would walk in through this side door and it would hit me directly in the face. And like when I said I came home, I felt like I didn't smell any chemicals. I don't know if it was that spray,
Right.
but as I started to dig out stuff,
Yeah, get the bags.
It's like the Febreze effect. You go to the bathroom, blow it up, you spray Febreze, it masks it,
And you know
whenever
what?
it dissipates.
I went through all these flower beds and I did dig out flowers and I'd get a couple whiffs of chemicals, but I would say cleaning inside and going through the clothes was worse than digging in the soil.
Okay. So going back to the furnace thing now. So like I said,
Well, is that higher over
What's that?
there? By East Main.
I'd have to look.
Okay.
I'd have to look. East Palestine, in East Palestine, the levels are within the village. Even up here, the levels are higher than what you see in the rural areas.
Is anything on mine or
It's definitely higher than 2.9. Yeah.
Okay, so
Um,
my road is definitely higher.
It's definitely higher.
Oh, I would
or
assume that.
2.8. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is because it's an.
Because you're
industrial-
down
But
yeah.
is it past?
Well, it's
the-
also an industrial area. You got a coke plant right down the road. You got all kinds of other industry that's been
But is
happening
it
down
past the limit?
there.
Because
Yeah. It's
Well, and you got BFI right there too behind your house.
but I know the symptoms before and now.
Yeah,
I didn't have symptoms.
Yeah, and again, if we're just talking about dioxin, we're not talking about all the other cocktail chemicals that have been out there, right? But with the dioxins, the levels that we've seen down in Taggart and up into the neighborhood just south of Taggart are all anywhere between, I'd say, 4 and 20 parts per trillion.
So then, not speaking dioxins, is there anything else about the reporting limit?
So off-site, the only thing we did was semi-volatile organics and dioxins, and everything came back within typical background levels, except
not-
for a few sites along roadsides.
But then the radiation detectors that you guys have on you at all times to pick up one rate.
Yeah, I told you I'd check with Shanna, our health and safety manager, to see if they've seen any exceedances on our badges, and I haven't done that yet. I will do that.
Because that's the only thing I can think of to explain hers if that's not a VOC. Because a lot of those images of people getting something like that is closely, it just looks almost identical to radiation poisoning.
The radio. I'll check, but the
It
radiation.
wouldn't hurt to roll it out if you guys already
Sure.
know the equipment.
Sure. That one's a hard sell, but it can't hurt to again ask the question.
Roll it up. I mean, we can't put it. She doesn't know why she's still sick in her house. You know, so it wouldn't hurt to pull at least something.
Like I said, I'll have to check the badges. Like I said, on the furnace filter, all the even like the TCDD, which is your most toxic dioxin, you're down the parts per quadrillion, right? So it's really low. Your OCDF, your OCDDs are lower, right? And so the toxic.
What about like this, 9.9?
So 9.9.
What's that?
So those are your totals. So you have all your individual, what they call congeners, right? That's the name. And then you have your total. So they take all, and these aren't the only congeners that are out there. There's a whole library list of congeners. These are the ones that they specifically screen because they have toxicity values for it, right? Then they take all the H series dioxins, H series furans, HP series dioxins, HP series furans. They add them all up, and that's the number that it comes back with. Okay, and then they apply a factor to them, and that's why I wonder if they put a TEQ value on. No, they wouldn't because it's nanograms per wipe. Yours are nanograms per kilogram.
Yeah, the lady said you have to do a mathematical equation with the surface weight.
You do, yeah, you do, and you need it mass based.
And that's what was done. If you want me to send you the article, I will, because he explains in the article exactly what the toxicologist said, and that the dioxins were 15 times higher. But I mean, this is how I feel about it. I don't care if they're 15 times higher or 5 billion times higher. I don't want my kids exposed to anything that's going to hurt them.
Right. I get it.
No toxic chemical in any level is safe.
Well,
That's my theory.
Yeah.
My knuckle, or not above my knuckles are burning.
Okay.
And like I told Alfred, I think Alfred, and you know, he told me a story. He said his mom, they lived, I think, in San Antonio, Texas, and they had something went off there in the water, and his mom still drinks bottled water to this day.
Oh yeah.
And I said, well, I think that you're just going to have certain others that no matter what you tell us, it's not going to be okay. We're just not comfortable. And you know, they say that there's this small amount of people that want out. Then why won't they just get? I don't want to leave. I don't. I love it here. But
I saw your interview with Liz. I know how you feel.
Okay.
I know exactly how you feel.
And you know, it's just you don't want to leave. Home should be a place you run to, and now I feel like it's a place I want to run away from.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hope you coming here, you see that there's something going on. And I don't know if it's similar to other cases. I don't know, you know what I mean? I know you're going house to house and seeing different things. You know what I'm saying? Are you finding a common link? Is anything matching up, or is it just odd and in? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have this smell here, and then somebody else has this smell, or...
Your bag of shoes is the first time I've really noticed something.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why I said put that in the garbage bag. Tie a knot.
I should have made. I should have made.
I bet you'll find something too.
I should. I wish I would have had him come over, and you could have smelled all that stuff I threw away. I'm gonna get the shoes for you though.
Well, put it in the garbage bag, tie a knot in it, hold on to it.
And you know what sucks about that? Like, I'm not bitching,
Right.
but that's probably for $500 worth of shoes that I had saved for my kids. You know, I know it sounds stupid, but we're poor. My boyfriend makes $900 every 2 weeks. You know, I have to save my other kids' clothes.
Right.
It's like.
Well, that's the other thing. I know this doesn't make people feel comfortable when I say it, but I've worked chemical spills in the past where I have direct read instruments where I can like mercury responses. I've done a bunch of residential mercury responses. Mercury is highly toxic, but our instrumentation goes down to low nanogram per cubic meter level, similar levels to what you're seeing in that laboratory. And the nice thing about that particular chemical is I can hang porous things out in the air, in the sunlight, and I can come back, put it all in a bag, monitor it, and show that it's non-detect because we have the capability to do that, right? The levels that we're probably dealing with here for whatever compounds you might be dealing with, we don't have direct read instruments that go that low.
Honestly, I feel, Mark, if I took and threw every single thing in my house away, ripped up the carpets, and everything was scrubbed, I feel like the house might be okay. I don't know, because I don't know if there's like, if it's coming through the drain, but I don't feel that, because I feel like it's trapped in shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay.
Is there another instrument that could read that too?
Let me go get those shoes
No,
for you.
I'm not gonna take
You
one.
said for you to keep them. Put them in a bag.
Keep 'em, put them in a garbage bag, tie it, double knot it.
Let me have Scott test them.
If he has
We could.
I mean, if he has the ability to do a VOC test, because what I would recommend is a quick grab VOC test to see what's in there. Ask him if you can do it.
You know what? I think I might be able to get one of those from Helen. Doesn't she have those?
I haven't talked
Oh,
to
she
them.
got those through Wayne State.
Yeah, they're a canister test. Is that what I want or no?
So a canister test would work. Again, it would be an instantaneous test. So they have different regulators they put on the canisters, right?
Yeah, I think she said she had a couple left last night. Maybe I can call her.
Yeah.
Here's another issue. Whenever the houses were testing everything, no one turned on their air to create airflow to keep the air circulating off of things that it could be sitting on.
Well, no, I feel they should have told us all to turn our heaters off. That's what they should have
Turn
done.
them off.
They should be.
That's
able to
what I was
circulate
told
air.
by the toxicologist, that when they were doing that burn or after the train wreck, they should have told us to turn our HVAC systems, our heaters off, so that we weren't sucking the air from the outside and getting into the house.
Turn your fan on, not the heater, so the fan will blow and not pull
Air
air.
in.
Oh, circulate, just
yeah,
circulate.
so
Yes,
that's what
yes.
it is. So the fan on. The guy that tested my house, he came in, he's like, holy, he grabbed his stuff, he's like, let's go outside. And whenever he saw my test results, he's like, there is no way. He's like, they should be astronomically high for what I felt in your house and the way it smelled. He's like, there is something clearly wrong. But I threw up after he left, and I couldn't go back in.
I just have had, the only thing I've noticed is diarrhea. And it scares the shit out of me. It does. Because it makes me listen, I've shit nuggets my whole life. I hate to tell you this, but I have.
Yeah.
And it's so abnormal for me, Mark. And it's like, it makes me, in my mind,
Now,
it
does
like,
it come and go, or is it?
oh no, I've had diarrhea nonstop since I've been home. Every time I go to the bathroom. And my kids is too. It's like loose stool.
What color is it though?
It's like yellow.
And that's what's alarming because most of the time that signifies liver failure.
Jaundice thing.
Well, if you look at different color stools and like
Yeah.
if you're on diets or a vegan or anything, you do have to pay attention to the colors of the stool. Like yellow is not a good one to
And our
continuously
poop was
go
brown
yellow.
the entire time we were gone.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So I mean, calling your doctor and asking, how long should your poop be yellow?
Yeah. That would. I assume you've gotten some medical guidance.
I'm gonna call the pediatrician because today would be 24 hours straight that the boys have been having diarrhea. So I'm just
Yeah.
worried. I've been giving them Pedialyte and stuff. I do want to tell you, I did too have my boyfriend. He works in elementary school, and my son tested for vinyl chloride when we were in Niles. But they were coming to town. You know, he was coming to town every day for work, and they both tested negative.
So you had the metabolite test done.
Yes.
And your boyfriend and.
And my 10-year-old got it done because they had the most exposure to town.
Okay.
And they both tested negative. They
Okay.
wouldn't test the little ones.
Yeah.
But Ronnie, the first 4 weeks after the derailment, he had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
A lot of bloody noses, breaking
you
out
said
with
that.
like pustules, like all over his. I
Yeah.
thought when I seen him, came back from his dad, and I thought his dad had bed bugs. Is what I thought, and they bit the shit out of his
Yeah,
body
yeah.
because that's what it looked like. But he spent a lot of time in town, and he doesn't seem to be having anything.
All right. Give me a lot to think about.
And Jake's gonna freak out too. I wouldn't tell you that.
Who?
Jake.
Jake,
He was crying last night. Jake Koza.
what is he crying about?
He thinks his wife's gonna die. He's like so freaked out.
My boyfriend's been coming to town. He has a hard lump in his gums. Like it.
Well, I just
the
showed
size
him
of a
this. He
marble.
says it's a canker sore, but I never got that
It's not
before.
like that. It's
Yeah.
like right here, and it goes from the bottom of his teeth down to where his
Yeah.
lip connects,
Yeah, there's
and it's hard.
only two things I'm confident in, 100% confident in. I'm confident in people soil because we've got enough data now, that, and it's done with all the quality control mechanisms we need to do to make sure soil is safe.
Well, and I even know with Zuza's and Krista's soil that's on mine, because he did a soil sample even from inside of her basement, in Krista's basement, and she lives in one of the oldest houses
Yeah.
in town. And it showed that even the soil down was almost the same as what the soil was on the top. You know what I'm saying? So like they did like a sample outside,
Surface,
and then went in her basement, and it was like
comparable.
raining. Yeah.
Actually, so on that,
I don't think Zuza and Krista will care. I don't know why I want to hold those from you. I just feel
They
like
sent me one too. So I mean,
I'll just email it to you.
yeah, like I said, it's just the TEQ values that I'm interested in soil. But yeah, again, at the end of the day, that I'm confident in that, and I'm confident in the general air quality. We've got over 100 million data points over.
Well, and I'm going to confront Scott too. I'm going to tell him, Scott, you say the EPA will accept our data, but they're telling me that you aren't providing with them with whatever you've been asked to provide them, and without that, they cannot.
I'll text you what I need
Okay.
from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me and Scott, I've known him since the beginning. I'm one of the first people who really tested, so.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Well, I am late for my next meeting already, so. I am
Sorry.
That's okay.
Well, think on it and let me know what you
late getting
think.
here, so, yeah.
You're good. I
Yeah.
mean, I hope you don't think I'm crazy.
I don't. Not at all. I just, like I said, the health side of this is extremely hard to navigate, and you know, we've been thinking about. We've been struggling with how to.
Let me ask you something, Mark. Do you think Norfolk Southern's going to come to a point where they're going to buy people out that want to leave?
Well, I do know, and that's one of the things we've been working on, is getting them to the point where, at least at a minimum, they will finalize their relocation assistance program. Right? So, if you sell your house for less than what it was worth.
I don't trust this.
No, I know. You and I talked about it. But I just for your knowledge, we've been working hard to get them to finalize that program. So if you want to move and you sell your house, you will get the value that it was worth before the trade program.
Yeah, but do you understand what the problem is with that? When I'm looking at buying a new house,
I know.
my payment's going to double.
Ashley told us that.
That's what it is. And I only owe I think $32,000 on this. Like I said, in order to
What do you think it's worth?
I think it's worth maybe. I have to read it back. If I did what I need to do in there, it's probably worth $100,000.
I think
It's on
worth more.
It's on a double or a triple lot.
It's worth more. You have more land in you.
Yeah. Okay.
Now
Well,
this land's
anyways.
all the schools.
Okay.
So this plot right through here, and then that big field in the
Yeah.
back, that's high schools.
Okay. Oh wow.
Huh.
All right.
No
Well,
way.
end of the day, bag those shoes.
I will.
Double knot it. Let me think. Let me give this some thought.
I'll see if I can get Scott to test them.
If he has the equipment.
Or I'll get a hold of Hillary and try to do that canister test. Do you think that'll work?
If they have the equipment, they can do an instant. It's got to be an instantaneous.
Yeah, it's something that like stayed in the
I
freezer.
think
What's that?
They were like in the freezer.
Oh, those are the badges I was telling you about. The badges work. Yeah, the badges work. She has a badge that's Wayne State equipment.
Yes. Okay.
But the badges do work. You throw a badge in there, tie it up again, and then it'll absorb, right? And that's their absorbent materials.
Oh,
And then
then maybe that's what I need.
Then they send it to the lab. So she has that type of resource. But you know, like I said, I want to talk to our science team. I want to think more about your situation, specifically the shoes.
now could she leave for like a weekend? And it's hard for her to go to a hotel because she's got kids. My walls are paper thin. I can hear a dog like itching itself.
That's up there between her and Norfolk. We don't.
That makes it so much.
Norfolk already told me that if I needed to leave again, even though I got the cleaning, that they would pay for me to leave.
So again, the reimbursement program, the Family Assistance Center on that whole program, they did that voluntarily. We didn't order them to do that.
Yeah, they did it ass backwards. You know, I added up how much they gave me.
I saw that in your interview. Yeah.
It's like $90,000. It's fucking crazy, dude.
They paid my house off already.
I could have paid my house off 3 times.
Yeah.
Should just pay my fucking house off.
Right.
Sorry to say that, but.
Right. Okay. All right.
All right, let me know. Go.
Okay.
Because I know you're late.
Yeah. No, again, give me all to think about. So thank you.
I'm glad that you smelled a chemical. Your
Smell?
first ever.
Yeah, like I said, I've smelled some weird things, like at City Hall or back in February when I was down in the municipal building. Something smelled off, but it didn't smell like that.
No.
But it did smell off.
I'm telling you, that is from the initial. That's my thought.
Okay.
That it's something
Yeah, bag it up.
from within those.
Bag it up, put a knot in it, and then let's keep talking. So,
All right.
okay, see you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Uh-oh.
I'll knock your ass out, see?
Hang in there, guys.
Oh, hey, I'll text you. Text me your email. I'll send you these and text me what you need from Scott because I'm going to make him be accountable for what he says he's going to do.
Okay.
Because you know they told Scott they weren't going to do anything else with him.
I heard that they don't take independent tests into consideration.
Well, he said they would if he would give them whatever the thing is. And I think really that he has failed to do that because I think Scott doesn't follow through shit.
He said they would look at it. That's what he just said again.
Well, hey. Fuck, I did not record it and I forgot, dude.
I got it.
Oh, you got the whole thing. Dude, did you get it when he was down there with the bag?
54 minutes.
Oh my god, you